guys, Coach Green here with another video. This one, we're in the garden. It's a beautiful fall day, and I wanted to share some really cool information with you. Something that I go into a little more detail in my new book, The Theologenic Diet, What the Bible Says About Diet, Health, and Nutrition. But one of the things that I get asked a lot is, why is it so important to eat fruits and vegetables and greens? That pretty much any diet that you look at, that's one thing that is pretty consistent, is about the fruits, the vegetables, and especially those dark leafy greens. What makes it so important to include those in our diet? And that is an excellent question, one that I dove even deeper from a scientific standpoint to figure out the answers. And what's really cool is that when we break it down into a cellular level, so you look at the cells of our body, and the cells are constantly replicating, and we look at the DNA that is found in each cell. When the DNA replicates, sometimes we can have DNA damage, and what happens with the DNA whenever there's DNA damage is then we get sick, we have illnesses, things like cancer, diabetes, all kinds of different things start showing up. What causes that DNA damage? Well, 92%, interestingly enough, 92% of DNA damage in the cell comes from a mineral deficiency. There are so many different minerals that our body needs on a regular basis, and God created our body so amazing. We're beautifully and wonderfully made, but at the same time, we're incredibly resilient, but also a very delicate balance. It's very important that we get a good balance of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, all those wonderful things that the body needs at a cellular level to replicate, to keep us healthy. So why is it then that when we are in the garden and we're eating fruits and vegetables, of course, are a primary source, nuts, seeds, grains, those are primary sources on where we can get those minerals. Have you ever noticed that when you get a mineral, if you get a fruit or vegetable that's fresh picked right from a homegrown garden, it tastes so much better? And the reason for that is it is so much more rich in those minerals, because the minerals are put into the fruits and vegetables and the greens during the growing process, and a lot of it comes from the quality of the soil that they are grown in and the nutrients that they're getting from the soil. When we grow our own fruits and vegetables, we have the ability then to control that environment. We typically, in a homegrown garden, have more nutrient-rich soils because we are not trying to do it on a mass commercial level. We're growing on smaller scale in controlled environment, and we typically, hopefully in your garden, hopefully you're feeding your fruits and vegetables and your greens and your bushes and all the different things that you're getting your produce from. And there's a huge difference when you are feeding them. Now, most of your commercial fertilizers or even your organic fertilizers focus only on NPK, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. And that's great. We want to be able to do that, but you also want to make sure that you're getting all of the other minerals and the micronutrients. So when we're growing in our garden, I feed my garden with elements that are not just the typical NPK, but with products that will give it more of the micronutrients as well. And that's where we get incredible growth, we get incredible results, and absolutely incredible flavor. One of the products that I have found that I absolutely love, highly recommend, comes from IV Organic, and it is 6 macros plus. This is an incredible product. It actually just came out this year, I believe. It's a pretty brand new product. And the thing that is so amazing about this, it's very economical, especially when you start comparing it to a lot of the other fertilizers that are out there. But this includes not only NPK, but it also has a ton of other nutrients, the micronutrients that those plants need. Now, the result of that is then the produce that you get has those minerals in it. So not only do they taste amazing, but believe it or not, they're incredibly even more healthier for the body, so that you can support that DNA replication, and that you're getting the minerals that you need and improve your health. So it's kind of a win-win-win-win scenario. So you just can't go wrong. On top of that though, the side benefit of using really good fertilizers that have those micronutrients and the macronutrients and they're included is that you get more produce per plant. You can typically grow closer together so that you can be much more efficient for those who have gardens that you don't have a lot of space and you want to grow more in your garden. So when you're doing things like poached sap gardening or some of the raised bed gardening, you can plant closer together, and that's really cool because the reason that plant packages will say to space a certain distance apart is partly because the plant needs that room for the nutrient absorption, but when you're feeding them regularly, then you can get more out of your space. So just as an example, I experimented with this year, and I put it primarily in my potato bed, and I put it in my pepper bed, and my sweet bell peppers and my snacking peppers went absolutely crazy. I have so many peppers that I have been able to pick this year, and they taste just phenomenal. And then we've been able to get so much that we've been dehydrating them and we've been freeze drying them and getting all kinds of extras to enjoy all winter long. So we have this wonderful produce that we're able to enjoy long into the season. We even canned some of the jalapenos and made candied jalapenos. The jalapenos were very delicious and have been used, very popular in some of the recipes like our popper dip. But in the potato bed, I have my potato bed behind me. The potato bed, we did just regular yellow potatoes and red potatoes. And just for fun this year, I threw some marigolds in and around the potatoes just to kind of help with some of those potato bugs and add some color to the garden. So I think potatoes are a beautiful plant anyway. So when the potatoes were done and we harvested the potatoes, of course we use raised beds so that I can just reach down into the loose soil and just pull the potatoes out as I want them. So I just left the marigolds in here. I have never in my life seen marigold plants grow this huge. These plants, literally the stalk on them is as big as my wrist on some of these plants. And we have all of these beautiful marigold colors that are just brightening up the garden. The ones that you can see in the camera, of course, are just tall. They don't have the blooms on the tips, but you believe how huge these things got. I just could not believe it. I had no idea marigolds could even get so huge with so many blooms. And that's just in a raised bed garden with a mixture of, we did peat moss, rice hulls, cotton burr, and compost. We just reuse regular compost that we have from our homestead. So we throw our kitchen scraps and the manure, and when we clean out the horse stalls and the chickens and all that stuff all goes into the compost pile. And then in the spring, we just top dressed that, worked it in, and then planted our potatoes. And we got a really huge harvest of potatoes. And then of course I added this year the Ivy Organic Sick Macros Plus. So this was an experiment for me this year with this new product. I have to say I absolutely love it, and we will be using this more extensively in the future. I'm very excited to do some experimenting with our fruit trees, and then also of course the ever popular tomatoes, because tomatoes are actually heavy feeders. They need a lot of calcium and they need to be fed regularly throughout the season. And this stuff is super easy. You can top dress, you can mix it with water and make a compost tea with it. Smells absolutely amazing. It's a nice earthy smell, and I have to say the results this year have been amazing. So check it out. If you are gardening yourself, you can find this product at ivorganics.com, and I'll put the link with this video. So check it out, and remember, you know, the more that we are taking care of our plants, we don't want to just throw the seeds in the ground and throw a little water on there. We want to feed them too, to make sure that they're getting the right nutrients that they need. But when we do that, it comes back tenfold for us, not only in flavor, but also in contributing to our health. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. God bless.